हरे कृष्ण। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Bhagavatam answers many questions. So every chapter, it is if we can properly understand, we get solutions for many questions. That is very important. So in this chapter, some of the questions and very practical application. Why in the previous ages we were discussing why they were not able to chant the holy name, and what is the special advantage in the age of Kali. And Lord is very merciful, is not partial, so he is giving equal advantage for people at different ages. So all these things we can clearly understand. And now one more question about the sacrifices and all, whether we should do or not, that we discussed yesterday. That at the end of life, what is counted is how many rounds we chanted, with what attention, with what intensity we chanted counts, not how many yajnas we did or how many whatever other rituals we have done. It is not counted only. So we need not waste our time in all these yajnas. It does not give anything. It's all anything, some religious activity. And we discussed how Lord is very fair in different ages, and he gave very easy access to the highest thing in the age of Kali. Also he has made even the knowledge also very easily accessible compared to previous ages. If you want to know, read Vedas or Bhagavatam, you need to go serve a guru. Now just open the online and whole Bhagavatam is in front of us. The access is very simple now, but people are very distracted. That is the unfortunate situation. And now one more question comes here, uh, that is that is getting answered about karma. So that question also is very important to understand how karma affects and how karma does not affect. And also very important thing is Lord performed his pastimes. Now he wants that somebody should be spoken, like, no, for Ramayana, Valmiki writes first, and then now he is looking who is qualified to propagate it and whom should I teach it. Then he sees Lava and Kusha coming and offering obeisance. They say, okay, these are the people fit recipient to recite Ramayana for them, and directly sons of Lord Ram. Now Lord performed his pastimes. Now he need that this should be uh, explained to further and further people. Otherwise Lord did Leela and went. Now there should be some means to spread it. That time there was no social media to post. You don't have YouTube post your past tense. I have done all these things. So that time the process was, you need to have a proper qualified person who can speak about it, who can understand what Lord did. Now he chose two great personalities, Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, to do this activity. Now he did the pastime and left, and he's waiting 36 years. He was waiting that who will be qualified to explain this past tense to the general people, so that it reaches till Kali Yuga. That was the purpose of Lord's doing past tense, so that we all can hear it. Now he has to choose somebody, so he is choosing Sukadeva Goswami. So that's what here it is said. Savai Maha Bhagavata Parikshit Yenapavargakyam Adabra Buddhi Jnanena Vayasake Sabditena Bije Kagendra Dvijapada Moolam. He says, O Sutta Goswami, please describe those topics of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of the birds. Those topics were vibrated by son of Vyas. So these are the two great personalities Lord has to choose to advertise, or what is a propagate what he did. He has done something. Now he wants people to know what he did. So he has to make an arrangement for this. And another important is about karma. So we were discussing yesterday. Somehow we could not reach that topic. So we'll try to discuss. We have to know how this karma forms. So when the impressions are created, it is actually forming karma. When we do the activity, the impressions from the activity form further karma. If I enjoyed some activity or if I suffered with some activity, it creates impressions. And that impressions, not only the reaction now I am getting because of that activity. Say I ate some very bad sabji and I completely disliked it. So it created impression. Say bitter gourd or Karela. Now what happens is whenever I see that impressions comes back to me. If I eat gulab jamun, I liked it. Whenever whenever I see, the impressions comes back. So this is actually another part of karma. So we discussed this previously also. There are two aspects of karma. One karma which decides our body, decides our relatives, friends, decides our opulence, material happiness. All this is one category of karma. Happiness, distress, pleasure, pain, success, failure, name, fame. All these things are one aspect of karma decides. Another aspect of karma is the impressions part. So when we perform any processes, any of this yoga process, jnana process, or mantra meditations, or any other vipassana, what we are basically doing is we are trying to remove the second part, not the first part. The second part is what? Of the impression parts. So which is very, very important for us to, so that we don't get further implicated. That is very important. Say now, if I have so much bad impressions with watching so much movies in childhood, now I know it is bad. Now whenever I see a movie poster or some advertisement, I am watching some spiritual discourse in YouTube, and suddenly a pop-up comes of a new release of movie. Now if the sanskaras are so deep, then immediately I'll go to Netflix and no download or pay it, whatever it have, the way I don't know the process. So then I start watching it. That means what? That impressions are making me further implicated. But when we do this yoga process and all, you become conscious and you burn that part, impressions part. So bhakti burns that part. And not only bhakti, even other process also have some effect in burning the impressions that come. Even karma, yoga, and even people just do some meditations, even that can also help to some extent, but not as powerful as bhakti. Bhakti can uproot everything from the root only, everything, nothing remains. If this is actually a warning, if somebody is, you understand this warning, that if you very, very sincerely, attentively chant, and chant in such a way that you are completely aloof from, cut off from everything of your surrounding, and you are just absorbed in holy name. If you do in this way, then what happens? Without our knowledge only, all the things which we are attached to will gradually go away. And what we understand that, I am so attached to certain things, actually I don't need only them. That understanding will come. So we become so light, we become so happy and blissful when we get absorbed in the holy name deep and deep. And one day we completely get free from this bodily and other family attachments. So this is a warning. Warning in the sense, we feel, these things will go away, how will I be happy? That's why we are not able to give up. But holy name is so powerful that if we just hear so nicely, just get absorbed in hearing, nothing else you do, and completely get aloof when you're chanting in the morning, completely with holy name, and rest assured everything goes away on its own without any separate endeavor. And no, it's then we feel, oh, so easy it is. The problem is we no more want to enjoy any of these things, and we feel so light, and we will start understanding that, oh, whatever I need, Krishna will take care. He will remove unwanted things on their own. They will go, and whatever is needed, they will remain to some for some time. After that, everything will go away, our attachments and all. The point is what is happening there? The impressions which are holding us, they are going away. Not only the impressions, in case of bhakti, that detachment also comes, which are already existing. Whereas in case of other process, now it is not so easy. It works, but not so fast. Like if somebody is doing Nishkam Karma Yoga or even some meditation, Vipassana, they develop some sattvic, all these, any religious or some spiritual, so-called spiritual organizations, what basically they are doing, they are trying to bring a person to mode of goodness. They are making a person conscious. So even just being conscious, na person can overcome many of the bad impressions, and he can live very, very peaceful life. So they feel it, the peaceful life, as spirituality. That is their misunderstanding. It's not at all spirituality. It's some sattvic life. And people in Kaliuga, they're completely confused with spirituality and sattvic life. They say, I'm very spiritual. I eat only fruit diet or only raw food. I'm very spiritual. I'm vegetarian. I do yoga, pranayama. I'm very spiritual. I read also some spiritual literature. They may read even Bhagavad Gita also, but it is nowhere spiritual because the practice cannot make them too spiritual. That is the point. Anyway, so the point what I want to tell here is that the karma aspect, which is very very important for us to understand. If we are unconsciously doing, more and more we are getting implicated. Even we came to devotional service, but unconsciously we are doing, the impressions will come on upon us. Like somebody is sitting and watching movies, somebody is sitting and doing some other thing which is not connected to, unconsciously they are doing, they will get the impressions and they have to work in cleaning the impressions. Of course, one advantage when bhakti, when we are doing parallelly intensely bhakti, even unconsciously we are doing, it will be done out of habit. They don't get any pleasure in it. That is the advantage in bhakti. People may end up doing some mischief. They may go and drink some chai also, or they may eat vada pav outside. They are so much addicted, but it will not give same pleasure like what materialistic people are getting, because they already got something higher. So that is another very important. uh, and of course there is one whole discussion on how to burn karma. We have to understand what is the four states of mind: chitta, buddhi, man, ahankar. And then we have to know what are the prana, what is the pranas, and how they affect us. These all things are very scientifically understood. Then we can understand what is the function of manas, what is the function of buddhi, what is the function of ahankar, what is the function of chitta, how they connect to each other, and where the impressions are stored, and how this karma exactly works. So it's a big discussion. Maybe slowly in our future classes, along with the notes, I will want to explain. I don't want to just explain like this, because you'll forget. I'll also forget. So it is not very, because little technical. I have to show the notes. Some I didn't make. Maybe in future I'll make how to burn karma. This is a very nice understanding, and it helps us to understand how bhakti works also. When we say, when we do bhakti, all the karma is burnt away, we need to know how exactly it happens, how the system works also. That is very helpful for us. Otherwise people will think, oh, they are so sentimental, they just say by doing bhakti everything goes away. Even though it is right, but we need to know technically also how it works. If you give some scientific explanation with some little jargon words, and not jargon, that's actually true only, but we can tell it in a scientific way, and it is appealing to the people. They can also understand, because everybody understands about impressions. Like if you give a small example of like say I ate ice cream. So two things happens. One is you get pleasure in eating ice cream. Second thing what happens, you get an impression of that. Then what happens next time when we see the ice cream, again we get that same desire. Oh, I ate, it's so nice, I want to do it, I want to repeat it. So this aspect, na, the impressions are stored in chitta. So this we can explain to, of course in manas it is stored presently. So we can explain to people in a scientific way. See, this impression is there. So these are the impressions that is forcing you to work again and again and again in this material world. And we have to overcome how to remove this impression. So this is a very, this is a way we can explain, and of course, we will see in our further discussions. So now some of the points in this, actually these purports are also very nice points Prabhupada makes, and even the section itself is very important for us to understand. Because all chapters, na, it is not, they are not just randomly placed. They are addressing certain particular issues and particular questions which we need to get answers for. So like previous sections also we were discussing, and we had some questions and answers. So every section, every chapter has certain very important answers. And of all the chapters in this first canto, Kunti Maharani prayers answers maximum questions, which we have discussed or shared notes also. But still, if anything is there, actually one book is going to be published, Healing Prayers by Bhakti Vignan Maharaj. That is only about Kunti Maharani's prayer. Of course, it's under process. Once it is published, I will share the link. And it answers, this is just from prayers of Queen Kunti. So many questions are answered. Such a wonderful presentation of Kunti Maharani's prayers, and also the questions related to why Lord is doing certain activity in devotees' life, and how to understand about why the situations are like this for us. So it's a very, very important book. I recommend everybody to take and read. So it's just advertisement for it, but I felt it is very helpful and it will help every one of you, and that is 100% sure. So anyway, we will try to see what Prabhupada is trying to explain, some of the important points from this section. And Prabhupada also have some very important points to make from this. Prabhupada says in this, because Sutta Goswami, Sonaka Rishis are requesting Sutta Goswami to speak about the discussion, because without them, there is no chance that we'll know what is what did Krishna do. And Krishna I did so much. Now who will tell about this to anybody? I need somebody qualified. Then he choose, okay, Sukadeva Goswami Parikshit. So he has to wait for so long. Even for Lord also, material world, it does not work. Somebody say like that. Of course, it's according to his will only, but still he has to wait for some years to Bhagavatam to come. There is some controversy among the students in the path of liberation. Such transcendental students are known as impersonalists and devotees of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord worship the transcendental form of the Lord, whereas impersonalists meditate on the glaring effulgence. So this is, we all know about it. So, there is Prakrita, Madhyama and Mahabhagavata. So Prabhupada explained these three categories of people. So then he gives that sometimes the transcendentalists, they became devotees. So the example is Sukadeva Goswami. He actually was a transcendentalist, impersonalist, then he became a reality. And then Prabhupada says, therefore the knowledge imparted by Sukadeva Goswami onto Maharaj Parikshit helped him attain the service of the Lord. At this stage of perfection is called Apavarga, or the perfect stage of liberation. So this is a very simple purport Prabhupada meant. Tanna param punyam asamvritatham akyanam atyadbhuta yoga nishtam akhyaha ananta chiratopapannam prakrit prarikshitam bhagavatabhi ramam. He says, thus please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for there are purifying the supreme, purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit, and they were very dear to pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga. So this is para means, which is very special. Now Sutta Goswami starts. What exactly happened, the Bhagavatam, because they wanted to know more in detail. And he says that, oh God, Sutta Goswami said, oh God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted to the birthright simply by serving the followers of the great souls who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications results from the lower birth. So this is an important point here. What is explained is that it is not when you, according to our birth, we will have certain karma which comes from previous life. And then we discuss first 4 years of our life, when the buddhi is not awakened, there will be some something that is programmed in us. This is first karma comes from previous life. What comes from previous life? We discuss two things: the impressions of previous lives, also what we have to get, the body, the place, the money, the facilities, that both things come along with the impressions from previous life. But what happens is the first 4 to 5 years of our life from the womb plus first to 4 or 5 years, there are certain more impressions that are created. So that acts as the impetus for further actions in life. That's why the responsibility of mother we discussed. And these are the two things which cannot be changed now. But association can change. That's what actually here Sutta Goswami is telling. As such, my birth is very mixed. That means what mixed birth means? He might have done something that is making him take birth in that caste. Na? Otherwise, why he will not take birth in a Brahmana family? So that is the point. When Sudha Goswami says that I am born in this mixed caste means what? Why you will get a birth in a mixed caste? Maybe you have done something that is making you forced to take. Of course, Sudha Goswami and also Sudha Goswami, they are all very, they may be Nitya also, we will not know. They as a pastime they may take birth. But in general, if somebody gets birth in a mixed caste, that means that is because of his past karma. It is something past karma makes him take birth in such caste. But they can be promoted. How? By serving and following great souls. So this is the this is what we, that is very important for us, that now what we have is of 3 parts of karma, which comes from previous life, which comes from first 4 years. The third part is what association we have now. If I am associating with the internet, and if I am associating with all this social media, or associating with sadhu sangha, so that will change my karma only. That is what is happening to Sudha Goswami. Which part of karma is changed? The impression part of karma is changed, because he's serving and following great souls. So I told that second part of karma, which is part of impressions, they're all getting changed. We can also change our impressions. So more and more we are morning and sitting and hearing Bhagavatam more and more and more. Then what happens? Our impressions are changing. We are no more interested in the worldly things. And yesterday some person, when devotee was keeping, he was so upset with certain incidents that are happening here, there, and he was so heavy. And he said, I'm so upset, this is happening, this is happening. Hindus are getting this, Hindus are doing this. Now, when we read Bhagavatam, we will not get affected. Of course, he reads Bhagavatam every day, but he has so much bad impressions. I always sit with him and explain, don't worry, nothing will happen. Everything is happening according to Krishna's plan only. But still, he has very, very strong impressions in that direction. When he hears, he feels normal. Again, he gets, the system goes back to normal only. Again, he gets it. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prajandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, you are explaining, Prabhuji, in karma is divided in 2 parts. It can be understood as 2 parts. One is collecting impression. What is the other part, Prabhuji?
Other part is now you got your body, your family, your opulence.
Prabhuji, you said like in other associations, like other jnana, karma, the impression part will be removed. In bhakti, everything will be removed. But even in bhakti, our birth is this, like prarabdha karma cannot be obviously removed from society, no, Prabhuji. It is the same, no, Prabhuji.
Yeah, actually some things now, which is like suddenly if, on the day of initiation everything is removed, the person leaves the body there only, then nobody will take initiation. So it will not happen like that. That means body means there, your prarabdha is there, but it is not the way it should be for outside people. It's the way how Krishna wanted. Krishna knows that this much is needed and that much he is keeping. And he knows, because we need body to serve the Lord. So now Lord is taking charge of it. Basically, it's that is a 2-way relate to the Lord in this world. One is according to law of karma, or directly you relate to Lord. If you cannot directly relate to Lord, you have to indirectly relate to Lord, because everything is Lord only in this world. Yes, we cannot otherwise anything without relating to Lord, you cannot exist only in this world. Either you have to relate directly or indirectly, because everything is Lord only. We are energy of Lord and everything is energy of Lord. So we have to relate to the Lord only. But point is, people who cannot directly relate to Lord, they relate in the law of karma. But we, if we can directly relate, that's what Krishna is trying to explain in 10th chapter of Gita. You have a relation with me, either directly or indirectly. For people who don't, for them it's law of karma. But who can directly do it, that is not law of karma. Directly Lord is personally taking care. So for us, not prarabdha, everything is gone, in the sense means now it is not karma, it is directly in charge of Lord. What body we should have, how long this body should exist, what all diseases should come, what all people should come and chastise us, give trouble to us. Everything is under Lord's control now. If somebody is coming and purifying us, we should be more grateful to that person, because Krishna has sent.
So the
Like that.
difference between bhakti and other processes, like in other process, only the impression can be removed. In bhakti, total life is taken in charge of Krishna. That is the difference, is it, Prabhuji?
Yes. What happens is impressions in the sense na they will be overcome tamasic and rajasic impressions. Sattvic impressions will remain only for them. That will not go because they live a sattvic life. They enjoy sattvic life. They don't want to get out also. But for bhakti, na we are this is transcendental. Even sattvic impressions also go away. After some time, we are not even interested in sattva raja also. We are interested in transcendental. So now people in sattvic, na they cannot speak lies. And devotees, they speak letter. They'll say transcendent. It is, we are beyond through all these things. Actually, it is not like that. We had to first learn some moral things. We cannot just speak lies like that. But for sattvic person, they cannot do it like that. They live very sattvic and they live very high moral values and all.
Yeah.
So that
Prabhuji,
impression is.
yeah, Prabhuji, you are explaining that, and we are really waiting. You said you will give a presentation on how to, like, the chanting removes the impression. Chit will change. We want that, Prabhuji. Actually, Prabhuji, when we chant, we get absorbed, and you said now you said that because of the absorption, we will come out of all anarthas. Like it happens naturally. So in this stage, in this present stage of mind, Prabhuji, I am situated in a state where, like, I'm not that very absorbed in holy names. So I just want to know, like, sometimes we are dealing with devotees, Prabhuji. So sometimes we cautiously, like, because of hearing so many lectures, though I have that sinful tendency to react, sometimes we keep ourselves, like, restrained from doing it so that it will affect the devotee. So in this stage, it is like this only, Prabhuji. So I just want to, we should act cautiously, consciously also, no, Prabhuji. Like, and until what you said is totally, the sinful tendency will be totally removed from us. That is what you are telling, Prabhuji. But this stage of bhakti, we should consciously also act, no, Prabhuji. Though the tendency is inside.
Oh, first we have to become conscious to become Krishna conscious. Means we have to
Yes.
have conscious existence. I already told, na, if you
Oh.
don't do consciously, that comes as destiny. That becomes karma. Karma means bad impressions come. If you are conscious, na, then we don't create impressions more because we don't want to create more impressions. Why we have to follow these rules and regulations so that we don't create more impressions which are entangling. So any activity unconsciously done creates an impression. Because it
No,
goes,
Prabhuji, I'm
it goes to
asking
the
now. The tendency is not removed from my heart totally, no, Prabhuji, in this stage.
that will now at least you know that you have a tendency. Previously, you are not
Yes.
knowing also, na.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
That means you become conscious. So
Yes,
more and
Prabhuji.
more you chant, then what happens? Then you will get more strength to overcome. Now you are doing it consciously, but unconsciously you will stop doing it.
Yeah,
Means
that's
you,
that stage. We actually, till that stage, we have to put some external effort, no, Prabhuji. That is what I'm
yes,
asking. Is it
yes,
right?
yeah.
Is it right? We should wait so the Krishna will remove everything. Is it something like that, or we should consciously act now itself?
You whatever you are doing now presently, that is good enough. It will go away. Means no need to separately work on it. Just do your sadhana sincerely, chanting, hearing, reading. That itself will take care. And what happens, anarthanivritti state means not that everything goes away. After that, na, we are conscious, unconsciously we can avoid all those things. Now we have to consciously do. After that, it becomes little easy. Unconsciously, it
Yes,
is
Prabhuji.
climbing down the hill. Unconsciously, anybody does anything wrong also, we don't even react also. Even though previously the tendencies are there, and now also they may be there, but we feel why I should do it. I will not do it.
Yes, yes.
It becomes so easy for us later.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other question, comments before we, because I jump in topics very fast. Before you get questions only, my topic changes. I will try to improve. I'll try to be little slow. This is problem with me. My impressions are like I jump very fast on topics. At a time you get many topics, so you'll not get questions. So anyway, so this is the third thing. What we can change according to this. Why I was telling is because Sutta Goswami said I changed. How did he change? Just serving and following the great souls who are advanced in knowledge. That itself, what we are also changing. Prabhupada went to America, hippies were there. Prabhupada gave his association. they took sannyas and went back home back to it in one lifetime. Can you imagine how powerful that is? So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj na, used to chant so many rounds, 48 rounds like that every day. So then devotees asked why. He said, "Oh, I was from previous conditioning, so it is I have to chant more rounds so that I can overcome that conditioning, the previous impressions." And of course, for him it is not there, but he is actually showing by example. This is how it should be understood. And I also I had one friend. I was telling this example also previously. I told. Now he is no more. He was he's almost Bhakti Vikas Maharaj disabled. Very sincere devotee. He used to chant every day 32 rounds. I used to ask him why 32 rounds. He said, "Are so much passion I have. If I don't chant, then it becomes very difficult for me to over control myself." So he used to chant very sincerely. And sometimes Gayatri also he cannot sit and chant. He used to stand and chant. It was like, and he did so much book distribution, and because of some road accident he left his body. But it was very powerful preacher. I liked him so much. I just joined that time ashram and he was like inspiration for me. But somehow he's no more. So the point was that's how devotees are very powerful. How they associate, how they sincerely do, and we have some nice devotees like that. uh, so there's a question. Project also said conscious effort at our end for humility is practice of speech, words, and three levels. So conscious effort is needed. Yeah. Conscious effort is needed because when we become conscious, we start doing things properly. Because we are unconscious, we go with our karma. We go with our at the level of manas. We are just go with I like, I don't like. That means uh, we are not conscious. That's why we are going with I like, I don't like. If we are conscious, now then we don't do I like, I don't like. We start doing what Krishna likes. That is the difference. So that's actually what happens when we start practicing spirituality. So this is the advantage we have. When we don't, if we are doing I like, I don't like, means we are still we are stuck up with manas level. Buddhi means we don't do what I like, I don't like. We start doing what is right. Yes. So we'll do the right thing of reading Prabhupada's purport. Sutta Goswami did not take birth in Brahmin family. He was born in the family of uh, family of a mixed caste or an uncultured low family. But because of higher association like Sukadeva Goswami and great rishis of Naimisharanya, certainly the disqualification of inferior birth washed away. See, Prarabdha is washed away. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed this principle in pursuance of the Vedic urges, and by his transcendental association, he elevated many low-born men or those disqualified by birth or action to the status of devotional service and established them in the position of acharyas or authorities. He clearly stated that any man, whatever he may be, whether a Brahmana or a Shudra by birth, householder or mendicant, can accept an acharya guru, one who it is conversant with science of Krishna. So that is a point. So Sudha Goswami learned the science of Krishna from great rishis and authorities like Sudev and Vyasadev. And he was so qualified that even the sages of Naimisharanya eagerly wanted to hear from him the science of Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, not only Bhagavatam, other Puranas also they heard from him only. If you see other Puranas description, uh, uh, it is the conversation between most of the Puranas are conversation between Sutta Goswami. They heard everything from him. After that, now they are hearing Bhagavatam in the end. So we have a question. In the morning class, it being said that glorifying devotees have the same benefit as glorifying the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada said, by hearing eagerly, we glorify the speaker. Can we explain how this happens? By hearing eagerly, we glorify the speaker. Yeah, what happens is we develop gratitude. That's why we start feeling that glorification from the heart. like some after the class now, some people say, yes, Prabhu, so nice, wonderful, ecstatic. So they feel so ecstatic after the class. So they start glorifying the speaker. Prabhuji, what a class. You're so nice. You're this, you're that. So because they become so ecstatic, they start glorifying the devotee who gave the class. So because you are satisfied, whoever gave that satisfaction and happiness to you, you want to glorify that person. It's like that. So it is said that so he had the double association of great souls by hearing and preaching. So he is associating with sages of Naimisharanya and he is speaking Bhagavatam. The transcendental science or science of Krishna has to be learned from the authorities, and when one becomes conversant in the science of preaching it, he becomes still more qualified. Oh, this is very nice. See, Prabhupada is telling uh, the transcendental science or science of Krishna has to be learned from authorities. And when one becomes conversant in the science and preaches, he becomes still more qualified. So, Sutta Goswami had both advantages. Thus, undoubtedly, he was completely freed from all disqualifications of low birth and mental agonies. This verse definitely proves that Sutta Goswami's inferior birth did not cause either Srila Sudha Goswami to refuse to teach him about the transcendental science or the sages of Naimisharanya to refuse to hear lessons from him. This means that thousands of years ago there was no bar to learn or preach the transcendental science because of inferior birth. So this is the latest part that came into Indian culture. And another, the rigidity of so-called caste system in Hindu society became prominent only within the last 100 years. And so, why? Because the Brahmanas degraded, na? That's why this happened. And when the number of Dvijabandhus or disqualified men in the family of higher caste increased, that is why it happened. Lord Chaitanya revived the original Vedic system and he elevated Thakur Hardas to the position of Namacharya, like that. And then, such is the power of pure devotee of the Lord. Ganges water is accepted as pure, and even if there is some external contamination, Ganges is pure. No, Karna's case is not opposite. Karna's, he was actually previous life only had bad impressions, and he was born only in that state. he was Sahasra Kavacha in previous life. He wanted to kill Naradara and Rishi fought with him, and only one Kavacha remained. He took shelter of Sun God, and Sun God, he was waiting. He was okay. We'll see some nice place where I can send you. And he saw Kunti. And no, that is not anything properly also. She is a poor girl, and Durvasa Muni gives some benediction to a very small girl of 13 years. I know if you give such a big thing to a girl, small girl, what she can do, Kunti Maharani. And she says, okay, let me try it. As a curiosity, she tried, and Sun God comes and says, no, I'll give no. She says, Arey, what I will do. So the point is, now Sun God should understand, if you want to give, you can give after 10 years. A Durvasa Muni should understand what benediction I am giving to a small child. And they forcefully gave to Kunti, and then Kunti said, okay, now what to do. And then Sun God, he gives Karna to this. And not even normal moral people, na, one boy, he called me. He says, Arey, Karna is seeing that Duryodhana and party are doing wrong. At least Karna could have been neutral. That, okay, you are doing sinful, I will not be part of it. But he is not even neutral, he is supporting Duryodhana. That means what? He himself has that wrong tendencies. That is the point. So because he is a demon from previous life, he continued the tendencies of a demon only. Anyway, the point is that he took a wrong association. Karna had all that opportunities, but he knows he is going to get defeated. Krishna is on right side and I am wrong side. But the tendency of living entity is so stubborn. They know it is right. They don't want to do it. I personally, I know many of the things. I know it is right. I don't do it. It is. I say it's not time. I'll not surrender in this area now. I'll surrender later. I don't want to surrender because it is so painful sometimes to surrender. How can I change this? I don't want to change. And I know it is wrong, but I cannot accept it now. So that is Karna tendency in all the living entities. Anyway, here Prabhupada is writing, But as far as great devotees of Lord are concerned, they can purify a degraded soul even by being seen by the low born, and what to speak of association. Darshane pavitra karo eto marade. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to purify the whole atmosphere of the polluted world by sending qualified preachers all over the world to preach the chanting of the holy name of Lord Entity. And it remains with the Indians to take up this task scientifically and thus to do the best kind of humanitarian work rather than performing some stereotype imitation philanthropic work such as opening hospitals. So this is Prabhupada before going to America. So this is the heart of Prabhupada. He's saying, what are you doing? Go. And Prabhupada is always so eager. The mental diseases of present generation are more acute than bodily distress. See, this is very important point. The mental diseases are so acute. People don't know only. They are suffering so badly. They think it became a norm only. Now, small children in India, third class, second class, they are given IIT foundation, which they have to write after 10 years. They have to write this exam. The preparation for that exam that is given now only, and everything is you have the playing time. You have to play this game only. You have to go for cricket coaching. You have to go for shuttle coaching. You have to go for chess coaching. You have to go for dance coaching. I was thinking, you are organizing everything. It's a torture only. Let them enjoy the way they want. The traditional games nobody does only. They're tortured. The mental distress for them. Even playing is also for them, it is very systematic organized. It becomes, it's no more play, it's a duty. Are I paid so much for your coaching of this sports, why are you not going? Children when they come na, they play sometime cricket, they say, we are not liking cricket, let us play football. So they play football. If they don't like, they just sit and chit chat. But now it is not like that. You have to perform. You have to perform in sports, you have to perform in studies, especially in India. West it is little different, but in India you have to perform everywhere. Tuition comes, you have to do this, everywhere you have to perform. That means what? Mental distress. So this is actually what happens. That fellow is completely frustrated by the end of whatever happens. So it is quite fit and proper to take up the preaching of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world literally. I'm sorry, actually, because I'm not in that category of having children and also I can make any statement. But please don't mind. I'm just repeating what is given here and just some observation. And if you felt offended, please forgive me. So it is said that such books of the words of great devotees and those of the Lords are the Vedas and allied literatures, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then further says, and what to speak of those who are under the direction of the devotees, chanting the holy name of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency, the personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental by attributes, is called Ananta, unlimited. So we have one question is, are we to understand that if everything is as per will of Lord and previous karma, then the justice system and police department is unnecessary? When sadhu and cows are attacked, killed, what to do? What do you ascribe to that? What happens is, here, when this justice system and all, that is also arranged in such a way that according to karma only it comes. Say if person has that karma, he will be caught and he will be put in prison. Justice system that is happening, that is arrangement by karma only. Who has to go to prison, who does not have to go prison, that is arranged by karma. Sometimes it looks that the person escaped the prison and he is freely roaming and he has killed so many cows, he slaughtered so many cows and nobody is punishing him and is scot free. But it is not like that. What happens is, that is another problem. Now, because the justice system which we made, it is not according to Manu Samhita. That is why people have to suffer more. The so-called justice system, now it changes also. Whatever they prove in the law courts and all, it's all bogus only, most of the things. Because they don't have any basis. What is the basis of their judgment? Previous judgment. And what is that basis of that judgment? Previous judgment. And who made that previous judgment? Some foolish fellow made it without any reference to any Shastra. That he felt it is right, and then he gave a judgment. And then that judgment you refer to now, and you because it was done like that previously, now you do it like this. Now this will be the what do you say, the norm for the next judgment. But that is not correct. There are some rules that are given in the Shastras where people have to follow it. If they don't follow, what happens now? Say if somebody killed a cow or did something wrong and he escaped, but he didn't escape. He actually is in a more dangerous situation. If somebody did murder and he was escaped. If a murder, the solution is capital punishment. He should also be killed. Then what happens? He will be free from that tendency and that karma. Both he will be free if he is killed. If he is not killed, what happens? The tendency will remain to him. He is just kept in a prison. He will do that after coming out or in next life. Or he escaped both. He didn't go to prison also. He murdered also. Then what happens? Then for him, the next life will be so bad, so bad. He will be in some lower species for millions of lifetimes, and he will be born in some aborigines, and he will be born as a leper. He will be born as a very, very low class birth, and he will be born as a handicapped. He will be born as some lower animals, dogs, cats, or hogs. So many ways they will suffer. It is not that they are not going to suffer. And now what is happening now? This is actually happens in every Kali Yuga, not this Kali Yuga. And another important, why we get disturbed when we hear all this news, this is happening, Hindus, Muslims, Christians and all. We should always understand it is happening. It is not Hindu-Muslim fight. It is modes of material nature. Prakrite kriyamanani. This shloka, we should write and keep it in front of news channels. Whenever you open the news channel, you write this shloka on the top and read. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma karta. It is all the modes. The fight is between not Hindus, Muslims or Christian. The fight is between the modes. Whichever mode is prominent, that defeats. So there is a fight. If a war is going on, it is arrangement by a superior forces, or it is the fight of the modes. Modes fight amongst each other. They try to destroy one mode, another mode, and that's all. So if villages, how many people die every day in murders and all? Lakhs of people die. At least thousands of people die in road accidents. Thousands of people die. So many people die every day. But if some person of another caste is murdered, that becomes a big issue. Say I'm in a city now, Hyderabad. Every day so many murders happen, but that is not so much taken. But if one murder happen, a Muslim person murdered a say Hindu girl, that becomes a national news. Are so many are things happening, but that is not taken, because this is taken because that hurts the ego of people. How can you kill my religion, people? Ahankara vimudhatma. This is the point. No, when sadhus and cows are attacked, we should know Krishna knows what is happening, and he is doing whatever is needed. What we have to do, just get out of this material world. We cannot do anything here. If you try, Parikshit Maharaj did. For how long he could do? After him, Janmeja did for some time. Maybe after his son did for some time. After that, nobody did. Why Krishna did like that? Arey, Krishna, Bhumi Devi prayed to Krishna that Krishna appear and reduce my burden. Krishna reduced burden. 36 years Yudhishthir Maharaj ruled. 36 years Parikshit Maharaj ruled. After that, what happened to earth? Again, she lost everything. Now, what benefit did Krishna really give to Mother Earth? 36 years. Whole Dwapara Yuga is 8,64,000 years. Kali Yuga is 4,34,000 years. Out of which Mother Earth got, in Dwapara Yuga, if you say, okay, first part of Dwapara Yuga is okay, good. Last part of Dwapara Yuga, when Mother Earth is under pain, she got relief for how many years? 70 years of thousands of years, but with her prayers, she got relief for 70 years. And after that, Kali comes, everything changes. So what exactly? This is the point. That means Lord is doing, he has some purpose. We should not use our linear logic. And no, we should not use our logics here. We should know that Lord has a purpose, he is doing it. And when Britishers came to India, Indians are very upset. But Britishers conquering the whole world is advantageous only. Why? Because Britishers went all over the world and spread English. There's the sun never sets in British Empire, because in America there is English. In Africa you can understand. Australia you can understand English. India people understand English. So now what happened? It became very easy for Prabhupada to go and preach. If he has to go to America and all the speak in Spain, in Latin or Greek or some Spanish language, it would be very difficult for Prabhupada. There should be always translation for everything. But Prabhupada happily wrote all the books in English, went to America, preached, and then he spread all over the world. So how difficult it is to preach in Russia, even now also, because they don't understand English. But some people learned English and then they are preaching in Russian. That's how. So it's all Krishna's plan. We cannot know it, but at least we should know for ourselves. We should not agitate our mind with all this news, with all these incidents. We can do something. What? We can preach at least to 20 people, 30 people, or 40, according to our capacity, and help them. That's all. Yeah, what kind of relief? I told devotees to ask this question. Nobody asked only till now. I am not answering this question. I asked many times devotees to ask this question. So one more question. Roji, Karna definitely might have such a good deed, that being called son, such a perfect dude, might have such a good. Yeah, Karna, maybe that is the only good thing he got. He can be called one of the son of Kunti. Other thing, with all his good deeds, he got one credit that he could be called son of Kunti. Other than that, he didn't have any good things. So anyway, you think about questions, you read nicely purports, you'll get some questions, you ask, then we'll have discussions. So so the next we will just take one more verse, and we'll just check how many are there in this. Oh, we have 50, we are just 20. We are going so slow, but no problem. We have some break also, and if we are not able to cover, then you have homework. So it is now ascertained that the personality of God is unlimited and there is no one equal to him. Consequently, no one can speak of him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers. By this very goddess render service unto the world, although she is unwilling to have such, although he is unwilling to have such service. So now what he did, first he glorified the speaker and hearer, Parikshit and then he is telling, Array, I am not qualified only for this, but because of my association, I am in this situation. Now he is glorifying the Lord. Oh, Lord is such an unlimited person, and no, consequently, no one can speak of him adequately. So this is the point. How can I speak about him? He's such a great personality. So Prabhupada writes, according to Smriti, the personality of Godhead or Parameshwar, Param Brahma, has nothing to do. He has no equal, nor does anyone excel him. He has unlimited potencies, and his every action is carried out systematically in his natural and perfect way. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in himself, and he has nothing to accept from anyone else, including the great demigods, like including great demigods like Brahma. Others speak for the favor of goddess of fortune, and despite such prayers, she declined to avoid such favors. But still, she renders service unto the personality of Godhead, although he has nothing to accept from him. The personality of Godhead in his Garbhottacharya Vishnu teaches begets Brahma, the first created person in the material world, from his navel lotus stem and not in the womb of goddess of fortune, who is eternally engaged in his service. These are some of the instances of his complete independence and perfection. This is very important to understand that Lord is independent and perfect. Independent means he don't need anything for his pleasure. We need so many things. Very, very nice. The statement now what it proves is that he will not do anything for any cause or purpose. Anything he does is causeless only because he's independent. For us, now anything we are doing, it has a cause. We need something out of it. But Lord is causeless. The statement that he has nothing to do does not mean he is impersonal. He is transcendentally so full of inconceivable potencies that simply by his willing everything is done without physical or personal endeavor. He is called Yogeshwara, the Lord of all mystics. So we'll just do one more because it will be too late for us. Okay, I will end here. Nice points are there. Please, if we cannot complete our then we will have some homeworks. Thank you all very much. Any questions, comments? Okay, I'll go next. Okay, summarize. I don't know. This is a big task. I don't know what I spoke on. Okay, I'll summarize. So first we are discussing about karma part. Why we are discussing? Because Sutta Goswami said, I was born in such a low birth, but low birth is because of bad karma only. But because of my association, I could be elevated. So this is an opportunity for all of us. That's what we discussed. How karma, when we consciously do, will not be affecting with karma. And then we discussed about what Lord is arranging, we need to accept it. That is very important. Lord is having a purpose in doing all these activities. So we should not be worried. And when we peacefully chant, we'll know everything is done by Lord. We become more peaceful. you chant more and more attentively, we'll become more and more peaceful and will not get affected. Proper time also, all these things are happening. Bhaktivedanta Thakur time also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu time also, all the conversions which we see, Bangladesh and Pakistan, everything, all the people who were Hindus became Muslims at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only, after him only. Guru, that time Goswamis were present on earth, they did not do anything. Bhakti, Thakur did not do anything, but Siddhanta Thakur Prabhupada. But all of them did one thing, they preached Krishna consciousness. Because this situation cannot be changed, it's not in our hand. But we can change our state of consciousness. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Same thing I am telling again and again because I am seeing this. I see the status. So I feel why they are wasting time, and I waste your time speaking these things. Thank you very much.